time. The ASCI-AIA Regional Meeting, to be held at SCI-Arc, has changed its itinerary. The picnic on SCI-Arc Tuna Canyon property has been moved from Sunday, February the 19th, to this Sunday, this Sunday, to this Saturday, February the 18th. Who wrote this news? This is the shit. The ASCI-AIA meeting, to be held at SCI-Arc, has changed its itinerary. Don't look like that, Terry. The picnic on SCI-Arc's Tuna Canyon property has been moved from Sunday, February the 19th, to Saturday, February the 18th. This Saturday. Quit whispering. If you are hungry and need a decent meal, then this picnic is for you. Really, show up. Try and locate Steve Lombardi at school this week to let him know if you are going, as we want to know how many Big Macs to get. Gate crashes will be eaten. No, gate crashers will be eaten. Okay. Anyone interested in a woman in architecture? Now, anyone interested in women in architecture? Okay. Anyone interested in a Women in Architecture scholarship next fall should drop a note to Arlene with anyone interested in women in I can do it. Anyone interested in a Women in Architecture scholarship next fall should drop a note to Arlene with reasons why they think they should be worthy of receiving this scholarship. Anyone interested in forming a committee to do research on scholarships, please contact Arlene as soon as possible. Arlene and Serena have packets of financial and material available at the front desk. Once you have a packet, fill out all the papers as complete as possible. Then make an appointment with Arlene to discuss your forms. If you want more information on financial aid here at SCI-Arc, a videotape of what is available is in the library for you to view. Ask Anne about the tape and how to use the video recorder. It is there for you to use.
We of the Noonday News got together to try and make the show as interesting as possible for everybody. We thought that perhaps it'd be nice if someone would have comment on the films, plays, other kinds of events that are coming up that you might be interested in seeing or knowing about. So that's what I'm going to try to do every week. I'd also like the help from the people that are out there. If you know of anything that you think someone in school would be interested in, let me know. If it's some event as far as solar design goes or something like that, let me know. Just drop a note in my mailbox over there so I can put it on the news show. And that way more people will know about it. Here are some things that we have coming up for right now. Nuart Theatre, which is a British film done by the Royal Shakespeare Company, is going to be showing at the Fox, and that's an unbelievable film. It's, if I'm not mistaken, filmed inside a nut house, and it's just perceptive as can be. Another thing we have coming up are two really good Truffaut films at the Nuart, Small Change and Day for Night. If you haven't seen them, I really recommend it. Small Change is a story of young boys going through boys' school. It's really good. These are two Truffaut films that are just really happy and up films. I think you'll like them both. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, yeah, and Swept Away and Seven Beauties are showing at the Nuart Saturday. And Sunday, the original King Kong, where King Kong falls in love with Fay Ray, which is, it's amazing. It's got all these sexual innuendos going on through the whole thing. I think you'll enjoy it. And then, following that is Cocteau's Beauty and the Beast, which if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's a fantasy, an illusion. Everything is all smoky and just, oh, it's a magnificent film. If you can go see it, go see it. It's really, oh, I have to say, Cocteau is called the poet of the French filmmakers. So it's really a good film. Oh, and then the following Monday, the Nuart has 2 more good true folk films. Well, one true folk film, which is Jules and Jim, which is an excellent story of 2 men and 1 woman, and she goes back and forth, and it's a nice story. I think you'll like it. And Black Orpheus by Marcel Camus is showing that same night. This is the traditional Greek myth of Orpheus set in Rio during the time of the carnival, and the atmosphere is very nice there also. Okay, this Friday, there are many things that I think you might be interested in. The first is a lecture on the reality of color, its vibration, and its uses. I found this out of the whole person calendar for Los Angeles, and I'm going to put this up on the bulletin board if anyone's interested. The whole person calendar has events mostly dealing with of a religious nature, psychic nature, social organizations, that kind of thing. I have one goodie coming up from the whole person calendar, which I think you might like. Also, Jeff Mulder and Amos Garrett will be playing at McCabe's Guitar Shop if you're interested in that. Idea Studio will be having one of its Friday night dances. And the Fox in Venice is showing the best of the Cannes International Commercial Advertising Festival, which is supposed to be really good. Could try that. That's 4 things on Friday. That's really a good deal. Okay. Oh, here's the one from the whole person calendar. This is straight out of the calendar. I'm not doing anything to it. Dr. Schwab's Scientific Single Sadism, and it's at 8:30 on Tuesday the 21st. So if you're interested in that, go ahead, and they have a social to follow. You can look in the whole person catalog for such gems if you want to. Oh yeah, there's another one from the whole person calendar, which is the second lecture in a series on active imagination, which is held at the Jung Institute. And this is a lecture series which is to develop the ability to imagine, the ability to let your creative processes come out as much as you might want. Okay, that's it for this time. And if anybody has anything that they think you'll be interested in, let me know, because I'm going to try and get it all in if I can. Okay.
All right. I just wanted to make a brief announcement at this time that there seems to be a lot of slobs running around the school. I mean, we have to eat and everything, but, you know, can we keep the trash down a little bit in these damn these studios? I mean, a lot of people have to use them. I mean, goddamn, look at this stuff, you know? All over the floor. Look at this. Beer cans. I mean, we brought these in, but we're going to take these away. But you should see the coffee cups in here. Man, it's a mess. You got it. It don't take that damn much to just pick up after you leave, okay? That's all it takes, just a little bit.
In June of this year, Californians will vote on a proposed constitutional amendment that would exempt solar installations from property taxes. This means that if the proposition is passed, the amount of your home's value attributed to the solar installation will not be included in the property valuation on which the tax is based. We believe that this proposition is important for 2 reasons. Proliferation of pollution, free solar energy, and property tax relief. We urge you to support this proposition. During a recent visit, the Santa Monica Fire Department found SCI-Arc in violation of a number of their codes. To those of you who have been here a while, this is nothing new. Questions concerning the insulation of the structural steel and the safety and adequacy of our electrical system have been raised before. What is new is the Santa Monica Fire Chief and a growing national awareness of the necessity of preventative measures in the wake of several recent disasters. It would appear that this time we will have to make some corrections. We plan to keep you informed of the latest developments. You got second camera on airplane photo? Right. All right. SCI-Arc's Spring 1978 design forum starts with a bang tonight with multimedia presentation. The topic this evening at 8 p.m. is buildings seen as a product of biotechnology, called biotexture. There will be immediate interviews with Peter Cook, Charles Jenks, Glenn Small, Roger Dean, Jeza Earhart, and Maria Fisher. That's February the 22nd. The following Wednesday at 8 p.m., the topic is Controlled Fusion as an Energy Source. We will inform you of each Wednesday's program as we bring you the noonday news. March 1st, Walt Disney Amusement Parks. March the 8th, Methods of Fabrication and Assembly of and Lowell Commercial Aircraft. And March the 15th, rotational molding, cross-linked polyethylene.
Isn't that L1011?
I was trying to figure out what that was. Lowell. Where's the beer? The New Earth Exposition will be held in the Los Angeles Sports Coliseum March 9th through the 12th. The exposition stresses living lightly on the Earth and is a showcase for environmentally creative individuals and businesses demonstrating viable alternatives in energy, food, shelter, recycling, ecology, personal growth, transportation, gardening, wilderness skills, and holistic health. SCI-Arc will have a booth at the exposition displaying a few of the alternative design projects SCI-Arc has managed to produce. If you would like to help us with the exhibit, please contact yours truly, Terry Rainey. Many students have wondered where they can obtain used architectural books and texts without paying Hennessy and Ingalls prices. Here's a list of some bookstores that cater to the student and his or her needs. Book City, Hollywood Boulevard, and Book City, North Hollywood on Lankershim Boulevard. Bargain Books, Friar off Van Nuys Boulevard. Libra Books in Reseda, for all you folks that live out in Reseda. Hollywood All-Night Newsstand, sell architectural magazines from overseas and wherever Hollywood All-Night Newsstand is. In Coahuila and Hollywood, and the Brand Library in Glendale. Eric says the Brand Library in Glendale is an excellent source. Audio, Debbie.
We're here today in a continuing series of interviews with instructors and personalities here at SCI-Arc. This afternoon we're interviewing Professor John Knight, who is teaching the first-year design studio. John, let me ask you a question which I'm sure you're quite familiar with, but which is as old as architecture itself, but it's awful. This is difficult. What is architecture, John? Two robots, that's what it is.
Yeah, we went through this before about two robots.
Yes.
The question is incredibly loaded.
Hey, John.
You want me to pick them on?
Yeah, pick the mic up and talk into it. You could take it off the stand.
And I may be able to take it off the stand.
No, you can't.
That's okay. I really would like to circumvent the question.
All right, no, I think we should.
I mean, it's another kind of classic discipline like dentistry or archaeology, dancing. And someone said, "What's architecture?" It's one set of parameters and rationalizations that are geared toward people's interests who like things that are related to architectural history. They come right out of architectural history. They like that instead of that, and so they become architects instead of dentists. And my definition of architecture is it's just another plastic discipline.
Maybe a better way to find out how you view it is to just ask you what you're doing with your first year class this semester.
Well, we are just starting out with that. But that's very funny because that's what I'm doing with the class, and when you ask me, I can't answer it. And we're trying to, before we get involved in architectural lettering or site planning, quote unquote, or Le Corbusier or somebody, we're trying to figure out what we're doing here. And everybody knows in the class that they're at SCI-Arc, which is an architecture school, and they're not at the USC School of Dentistry. But I'm not sure how responsible that they are about that fact.
I don't understand what you mean by responsible.
Well, how really well they do know that. That is, they're in an architecture school and they're ready to blast away in architecture, but they really have no, they haven't projected any strong interests or needs to be architects or to deal with those plastic elements more than pulling teeth or root canals.
Well, some students might say by virtue of the fact that they were here at this school, they were indicating more of a preference for one profession over another profession.
Yeah, and if they said that, that would be true. And if, like was stated before, if they said that a root canal was architecture, then it would be hard for me to, who am I to say that it's not? And it might not be very interesting, but if they say that, then it is. And if anybody here were here in this, then I would imagine there would be a faculty who would say that's absurd from the bottom line.
And why do you think someone might say that?
I have a feeling that they would get hung up in the fact of their past experiences about root canals, and not be very carefully listening to what the person might be saying about that. If the person can rationalize that those set of parameters that make up a root canal, in fact, make up and solve the functions for architecture, then they might have something. And so I'm worried about that. I'm concerned about that. And that's what we're concerned about in the class, as you know, to a certain degree. If they can see through a root canal through some architecture, then that's fine. If they can't, they can't. But I'm concerned about the architectural lettering that's taking place in the class. That's a great concern of mine.
Maybe you can explain what you mean by architectural lettering.
I'm concerned with the stylized lettering that takes place at first-year level, and concerned with the rhetoric about bubble designs and bubble schemes and flow charts and all the rhetoric that these people have picked up on architecture. It really bothers me. I'm worried that they have this accumulating disease.
What do you mean by an accumulating disease?
Well, something that grows and gets out of control is kind of a carcinogenic thing that pretty soon they'll be using Helvetica, and they'll be sloughing off any kind of graphic that's not a sans serif. You know, and they'll be out of control in one direction, impossible to turn back. By the time they get to second year, they'll be making, they'll be having to decide whether they're really like Schindler, better than Le Corbusier, or they'll be making nasty comments about Simon Rodia. And so we're kind of concerned with, I'm concerned with, I don't know if anybody else is. Everybody in the class seems to be concerned with what I'm concerned with. Maybe that's because I'm concerned with what they're concerned with. But we're trying to work toward whether we even care to be involved in architecture in first year so that we don't waste any of their time hanging around in second and third year so they can move on to something else. They may find out they're really involved in archaeology.
Well, how do you if you say, for instance, that's fine questioning all these kinds of things in the first year, but what do you do in the second year to stay away from stylized, as you said, a stylized approach to architecture? How do you avoid that in the second, third, and fourth years?
Well, I guess you continue to teach first year and teach second and third year. The years have nothing to do with it. The second and third and fourth year people who are sitting on that first year class account for that. Well, they come back to that. They're coming to that situation because they seem to have the same problems in second, third, fourth year that the first year students have. And that is, irregardless isn't a word. Regardless of the problem, the plastic problem set forth, like whoever gave them the project, irregardless of the, maybe it is a word. Irregardless of the project, they.
It's a word if you say it's a word, right?
It's a long word.
Yes.
They keep coming back to the fact that they are solving the project problem, or supposedly.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well, what I mean is they're given the project, whether they're in first, second, third, or fourth year.
Yeah.
So they're given the project. So on that basis, they have continually the same problems to solve.
All right.
They are solving the problems, whether it's a single dwelling, it's a motorhome, it's doesn't matter what the
So that's
project
continuity
is.
of their education.
So that's a continuity of that's the rationalization for it. Having as much to do with a fourth-year student as it does a first-year student.
Well, let me ask you this question.
There's a problem to it. There's a problem to it, and that is because they're all separated. And I think the first-year students and fourth-year students should be together, so that the fourth-year students can learn something.
Well, then that leads to this question. What do you think the ultimate aim of an education is, of an architectural education is? We're being specific, so what is the aim of an architectural education? What should they have when they graduate from here?
And they're supposed to have architectural degrees.
Well,
and they're supposed to have a part of that whole classic discipline, which is called architecture instead of dentistry. And that's made up of all these contrived needs and goals and problems and solutions. They're supposed to be able to design architecture. They're supposed to be able to create objects that are for supposed architectural reasons. But that doesn't mean that that's what they do.
Right. Well, I guess our time is up for today. Thank you for being with us, Professor Knight, and thank you.
And with regards to the Tuna Canyon property, the dome is 3/4 of the way completed. We did that Sunday, got a little wet, but had a grand old time. We'll be finishing it up Thursday morning at 8 o'clock, and would appreciate any and all help we can get at that time. Thursday at 8 o'clock.
Very good.
At the site.
At the site.
At the site.
That's good to know.
Are you sick and tired of having everything you eat and drink cause cancer? Of plutonium with half-lives that'll eat your shorts after 3,000 years? You tired of radioactive spy satellites dropping in on you unexpectedly at night? Well, buckle up, Bunky. Here's the Doomsday Review. I'm going to review books, articles, maybe do an editorial or two about those people and events that are going to probably send us up to that big design school up in the sky. I bet old Corbu and Wright are having a good time telling God what to do. The book being reviewed this week, by the way, is The Zapping of America by Paul Brodeur. Get my drink out. It's about microwaves, their deadly risk, and the cover-up. Now, I know what you're going to say. This stuff is going to cause cancer, right? Well, you're right. It's going to cause cancer. And it's going to do a lot of other things. It's going to make you sterile. It's going to only make you have female kids. Let's see, a few other things it does. Well, anyway, it's pretty strong stuff. I mean, microwave towers, they've been around for quite a while. And this guy, he's trying to do a decent job. I mean, he's got the bibliography down on each chapter, and he's got it fully annotated where everything's coming from. Now, it's kind of hard to take in because when you figure that microwaves are being used by the government all the time, and by this little media thing that you're looking at right now, the television industry, they all use microwaves to get this thing across to you on national news, national TV, and the government and all their communications, and even some of their weapons. Well, this guy is telling us that these people have been covering up all of this, that they've been not letting us, the public, the United States people, music. they haven't been letting the people know about the real dangers to microwaves. Now, apparently the United States scientists have only been looking at the thermal dangers of microwaves. Now, we all know that microwaves cook food. Well, they can cook people too if you get your damn hand in there. And that's the danger, because what's going on is that the United States, when they say that there's no thermal danger and you don't feel any heat there when you put your hand in there, there's no danger. Ah, but contraire. The Russians, those good old commies over there across the ocean, they've been doing neurological research, the stuff that hits your brain and your nerve endings and all of this. You can have nerve damage and not feel any heat. Well, this is what the Russians are saying. But the United States scientists, they're saying, oh, no, that can't be, you know? I mean, here is our government, our national defense stands on it. A lot of industry and jobs depend on this microwave industry. Well, as it turns out, this guy is beginning to uncover it. Now, I haven't quite read through all of this book, but he is beginning to get down some good stuff about it. Now, Coevolution Quarterly, which we have upstairs, is this green book, this baby shit green. This book, you can't see it, that's right, it's black and white. This book is upstairs in our library, and it's got a review on pages, I think, 74 and 75 on this book, Zapping of America. Now, I'm not asking you to believe it or not. I mean, you're not going to believe if I told you that baby shit caused cancer either. But the thing is, read this Coevolution Quarterly review, and if you like what it says, or if it scares the hell out of you, read what this book says. Now, I've got a copy of it. Terry Rainey here. I've got a copy of it, and if you want to borrow it from me, oh, okay. If you want to borrow this book from me, as soon as I get through reading it, well, I'll be happy to hand it over to you. Now, I think that's enough said. I think some of you probably lose an interest in wandering away, going over to talk to Arlene, and probably finding out about some financial aid or some bullshit like that. And you care less about microwaves. But let me tell you, I mean, this stuff, it's scary. I mean, it's hard to look at. It's like plutonium. You don't want to look at it, you know? But you got to look at it. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You got to look at it. Okay. Some good stuff in here, yeah.
I don't see what's wrong with microwaves.
You wouldn't. I mean, you're a product of the media, right? I mean, it's your job, Mort. I mean, if we put down microwaves, you've lost your job, right?
Have you studied with my brother-in-law, Bill? How many of you have been put on the spot by my brother-in-law, Bill? Now, how would you like to put brother-in-law Bill on the spot? We're going to ask his talented wife and Bill himself to dance an Armenian dance for us.